Hello everybody and welcome back to 539. So today we're going to check out something that I just spotted on the road the other day on the way home from another location, and I think it actually might be connected to another larger location. There's like a little graveyard here. I'm not really sure what kind of graveyard it is. It might not even be a human graveyard. It might be a pet cemetery. And on the other side of it is a really historic 1800s graveyard, and I'm seeing some things speckled throughout the woods, so I think there might be another sort of hidden pathway that goes back to things in the woods. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks really interesting, and I'm seeing a lot of little fire hydrant graves. So kind of strange, not really sure. That's what's making me think it might be a pet cemetery, so we'll have to see. Let's go check it out. It's interesting how damaged this fence is, despite the fact that there's an open place right here to walk in. But as you can see right away, there are a lot of tiny little concrete fire hydrants. And that's what kind of makes me think again that this is probably a pet cemetery, at least up at the front here. I'm not really sure about the whole thing, but we're gonna check it out. I'm not really seeing too many names on the fire hydrants. But as you can see here, it definitely is for pets. Lots of dogs so far here. And down the way here, another row of fire hydrant grave sites. But again, as you can see, there's absolutely no names on the markers with the fire hydrants. I don't know why exactly that is. It looks like there's even a few missing as well. Some of them, there's little bases with like a little round area for it to have the hydrant on it, but they're no longer there anymore. And what's interesting about this one, you can see tire tracks that lead right over the top of it and then head off in that direction. So I don't know if that's maybe what took it out originally, or if it's just somebody that was driving that way after it already happened. So who knows. Some of them actually are cats here, and a few of the headstones actually have photographs in them, which is kind of interesting. So this place appears to have been around for quite a while. I'm seeing stuff even in the early 80s so far. Maybe some things in the 70s. An interesting discovery here. These are actually the spikes that they put in railroad ties, and they've been hammered into the side of this tree. Not really sure why. There appears to be three very distinct sections here. One up on the hill here, another one on the hill to the very hind end where I can start to see stuff in the woods, and then this center section here. Unfortunately, no markers to actually say anything about the sections. It might have just been an open area, and people sort of just over the years chose what they considered to be the best spot for their particular pet. But looks as if it's still a pet cemetery up here, as you can see. And a very interesting row of trees here. And a few things that have been hidden over the years. Wow, actually gonna have to climb to get to this one. And I believe right over there is another one where the bush has actually grown over the top of it. Looks like there's an old flower base, like for fake flowers that have been placed in the ground. Either that or it's a solar light. So let's head over that way and see if we can uncover that one. That one might be a little bit hard. It looks like the bush that's over the top of it is definitely still a living section here. So it may be sort of permanently hidden. Kind of start to get to it. It is at the very edge. But yeah, it's incredibly hard. Wow. And definitely some very, very interesting names. People often get very creative with their pet names, which is kind of cool. But the place is really showing its age. Lots and lots of overgrown stuff. I'm even coming up on another bush here. And you can already tell at the very edge here, there's a few things that have been covered up. It actually looks like part of one memorial that's been sort of knocked over. You can see the base right there, and then over here is the main section of the headstone. I'm not really seeing anything else, but there are a few. Oh yeah, these actually are markers up here. This is interesting. They just are on very simple cement blocks here, and are incredibly recent, within a few months it looks like. So just the way it's sort of cut out in these strange little sections, it does make me kind of wonder if some of these woods and bushes have grown over the years and covered up more at the back here. I'm not 100% sure, but we're gonna go ahead and head over to this third and looks like final section, although again I'm starting to see some stuff in the woods, and so I think there's a pathway that leads back, and it may connect to the much larger historical human cemetery that's probably about half a mile down the road or so. So if that's the case, we'll take that little trail back and explore back there, see if there's maybe more to find in the woods like we've done in the past. But definitely some stuff in the brush here. You see where there would have been some sort of base right there. And further on back, there does look to be something right here. Although I'm not seeing any writing on it. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled, because it seems like there's going to be more back there, especially if we're starting to find stuff like that. It kind of looks like there's even trails. Like back here, you can see a very cleared out trail that goes back to at least a couple, what looks like decorative stones that have been placed. Again, nothing with writing on it, but kind of seems rather conspicuous. It might be something, it might not. If I see something with writing on it, we'll for sure check it out. Oh, there's an old tire right there. Huh. Definitely some unexpected finds. Kind of an interesting item here. It looks like this one never got used and was placed, or they just decided to leave it unmarked. I'm not really sure on that. It does look kind of new, but you can't really tell with this type of stone. I do want to check out one thing. I am seeing some of the traditional markers that are actually used for people. Right here is a style of marker, the metal marker I'm referring to, that usually is used to mark a person's grave prior to the actual gravestone being placed. And it actually has another name on it that doesn't match the actual pet headstone there. Huh, this place is getting kind of strange. More up here that looks like older style, like 1800s style graves. Now that free marker was definitely not that, but this is definitely something here. So this is one of the trails that's leading off into the woods, and that looked like a regular headstone. Like maybe this place once either stretched further from the other newer section, or not newer section, but larger section down the road, or I really don't know. We're gonna take this trail for a little bit here. I'm not really expecting to find anything on this particular trail, but from the air, I was able to spot a few things that looked like they might be old grave markers. And this might just be an old trail from like a farm that used to be here a long time ago. That is incredibly interesting, though. That has to be, I mean, it could be a more wealthy family, but it's impossible to tell without flipping over the stone, and I don't want to do any damage to it. But again, you can see just by the sheer size of it, it appears to be a regular headstone. I don't know, this place is getting pretty odd. Over here in the very corner is something else too that appears again to be like a normal free marker, but it clearly has a pet name on this one. Slightly different style too. And then next to it a decorative stone and some sort of old decoration that has deteriorated way too far to actually even tell what it is. But again, if we keep heading back towards the woods, there is some strange stuff back here. Mostly old bottles in this part. So what we're going to do now is walk down this hill to the other end. It looks like there's a few more things there, and also appeared to be another larger trail. I don't know, it might have been kind of deceiving from the looks of it. I'm not really sure, but looks like we might at least find a few more graves. There's something in the very corner that again has more of a headstone look to it, but could be a pet, could be human. Again, I'm not really sure. This place again is just kind of getting strange. So it looks like the pathway might have been a little deceiving. I might have to look from the other end and drive around. But this is what I was talking about. It is just sort of a slab of cement and has been propped up by a stick in the back. So I'm not really sure. And it kind of looked like there was a pathway that went off into the woods here, but I'm not seeing anything now. It even looked like that from the maps. There is something back here. Definitely some sort of old concrete blocks. And a lot of them too. This is kind of strange. I don't think this is actually associated. I don't know. Again, no names, no writing. Could be anything. Well, there's some old decoration with angels on it. No real evidence, though, that there's anything back here. Might have just been some people playing around, messing around, and making things to look a little bit creepier than they really were. I do want to kind of walk this line one more time and see if I can spot anything back in the woods. I'm not seeing anything so far, anything more I should say. And the pathway that leads back, the one that actually looks like a trail here, I'm not sure it's gonna actually head to what we're looking for, even though it kind of has that look to it. I might check it out for a minute here. Again, I'm not seeing any sort of signs that say that we're at the edge. No real fence markers or anything like that. So you never know. And again, like I said, it's not too far away from another historic cemetery here. So the thought that they might have one time been connected and there may be trails that lead in between them, it is possible.
All kinds of trash. Old television set right there. Again, what I don't want to do is come up on someone else's property. I only want to check this out if it actually is part of this larger graveyard. But saying that, then I stumbled upon this. There does appear to be some sort of carving in it. I don't really know. It's definitely thick enough. What a strange place. But again, the main section of the cemetery is actually in this direction, and the trail's just continuing to head towards the other road here. So I don't think there's really going to be much more back here, and I'm not seeing anything else through the trees. I think what we're going to do is drive around to the other side, which I was intending to film anyway, and we'll pick back up in that section for the second part here. But kind of a cool place. Definitely a few different mysteries here. If you got any ideas about anything, let me know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about this place. It's definitely confusing me. So thank you all so much for watching this episode, and make sure you catch the second part of this episode when we head over to the main section, the human side of this cemetery, or at least it appears to be connected. I again don't know 100%, but it does appear from the maps that there were trails heading back into the woods and what appeared to be potential headstones back there as well. Just like the smaller ones that we found here. These were larger ones though, pretty big enough to see from the maps. So I think we might end up finding a lot more. If not, it looks like this other place will be incredibly interesting as well. But let me know what you think of these fire hydrant stones. It could be something that represented animals that served at the local fire department, something like that, or maybe it's just sort of a reference to the old dogs using the fire hydrants. I don't really know. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think.